We all have bad calls we remember.
You have to deal with so much, even on your first day. I remember calls on my first couple of days that I'm like, oh my God.
And a common coping mechanism?
We have a dark sense of humor because we talk about stuff and joke about stuff that most people would find very inappropriate to talk about, but we do that as a coping mechanism.
But that's not effective. And it's what first responders see that can lead them to the depths of despair.
It's not a place that I don't want anyone else to be in.
Just a few years ago, firefighter Ben Gomes, a husband and father of two, thought he was facing a darkness without any hope of light.
I just woke up one day and had thoughts of just ending my life. I started planning it out. It was a dark place to be in.
Years before becoming a firefighter, Gomes dispatched for Richmond Ambulance Authority, listening in on a person-shot suicide call one day.
And I instantly knew that it was in the parking lot of where I work part-time.
Hours later, he would learn the victim was a close friend. A few years later, still dispatching.
I was working at Richmond Ambulance Authority the day that Trooper Dermeyer was shot.
The pressure continued to build within, even as Gomes moved on to a new job as a firefighter with Hopewell.
Man, go ahead.
But it's how you cope with what you see that's important. When Gomes finally asked for help, he learned years of dispatching and running EMS calls as a medic added up.
She said that you had PTSD.
You know how much courage that takes for somebody to admit that, especially in this field? I dare someone to make fun of something like that. I dare them. Because that, to me, that's a courageous act.
Gomes wasn't alone with his dark thoughts. A 2017 study by the Ruderman Family Foundation found firefighters and police officers were losing more colleagues by suicide than line-of-duty deaths. But in a job where you're not supposed to show weakness, let alone ask for help.
And that's the hardest part for me and for I think a lot of other people in this profession is taking that first step to speak out.
Gomes also set off to make sure others didn't fall victim.
To know that one of my guys had to go through that, and he's still standing, and he wants to make it better for other people, that's amazing.
He recommended to Chief Donnie Hunter a unique class by Virginia First Responder Support Services. Recently, 10 members of the Hopewell Fire Department spent 2 days in the class learning about peer support.
One of the things that surprised me most about the class was what feels like would be extremely hard to do is actually really not that hard. It just takes starting a conversation.
Captain Rick Mejias now believes the class should be mandatory.
What that class did was everybody has demons. Everybody has issues. And if you don't deal with these things, if you don't acknowledge them and see them for what they are, they're going to come back and they get stronger.
For all first responders, help is out there, and with people who really do understand what you're going through.
Taking that first step is the hardest, and me personally knowing that, it's the hardest. But if you take that first step, we're there to help you. And we've been in your shoes before.